Hey pet parents, it's Sarah Andreyko with The Lab, brought to you by Better Pet. I'm a certified canine behavior consultant and veterinary nurse with over 20 years of experience. And today I'm going to be reviewing 7 different types of long-lasting bones and chews to help you decide which might be the best product for your pet. Now, to let you know in advance, our team did hand select these products and test each and every single one of them to provide the most information for you. We are going to compile all of the information and the specific data points that we used to compare these items to each other, and we're going to show you that organized data at the end of this video. So stick with us if you want to see everything that we've compiled together. And on top of that, we'll also go ahead and list that information in the link description at the bottom of this video as well. All right, let's dive right in and check out some of these bones and chews. Now, before we dive right into the very first product, I want to let you know one of the ways that I determine whether a chewing product is actually safe for a dog's teeth or not, and that is the finger dent test. And it's a really simple test where I just press my fingernail into the product to see if it leaves an indentation or if it does not. If it does not leave an indentation, chances are it's too hard to give your dog. And the reason I'm concerned about this is because over time, those chews can really wear the enamel down on the tooth or even crack them, leaving you in dental land, and you don't want to go there. So I love to test every single product that we have here today by pressing in with my fingernail to see if it dents. If it dents, typically it's soft enough and you're good to go. Today, I have 2 Yak Chew products for you, and the first one that we reviewed is Native Pet Yak Chew. Now, the first thing I like is that the packaging is very simple. It's not full of marketing gimmicks, and you'll notice on the packaging, it directly states that this is only made with 4 ingredients, and I love limited ingredient treats. This is something I like right off the bat. Now, the next thing that I noticed is that there's really not much of a smell to these, which is great because some treats can be really, really stinky. So if they're chewing them on your couch, on your bed, on a dog bed, this is one of those treats that's not gonna leave that really stinky odor behind or stain anything. So I do like that. The other thing that I like about these chews is that they're lactose free. So for dogs that have more sensitive of a stomach, this is gonna be a little bit more gentle of a product on their tummies. Now, a couple of things that I don't really like. When I do the finger dent test, it kind of barely passes. So I'm a little iffy as to whether these are actually a little too hard for teeth. I do think that older pets or pets with maybe some gingivitis should avoid things like this because I think it can make it a little bit worse. So these are a bit hard for my liking, but overall low in odor and a pretty decent product for your super chewers. Just be cautious that they don't have a lot of time with these so it doesn't wear down the enamel or hurt the teeth in any way. Next up for our Yak Chews are the EcoKind Pet Treats. Now, one thing that I like about these, again, Yak Chews tend to be really low as far as odor is concerned, so these are great chews for having on dog beds and furnitures. There's really not much of a smell to it. There's slightly more of an odor to this one than the Native Pet, but it's hardly noticeable, so I do like that. These are long-lasting chews, but very long-lasting for a specific reason, and that reason is because it does not pass the dent test. These are slightly harder than the Native Pet chews, so I definitely don't like these as much. In fact, when I did test this product out, even though one of the benefits to Yak Chews is that they're not supposed to splinter or shard, this one did splinter and shard. And so I found this to be a bit more dangerous to give my dogs, and this isn't something that I would recommend giving active or heavy chewers because they might break a piece off. It could potentially go into their intestines and potentially perforate that, meaning your dog might end up in surgery. So I'm a little bit wary of products like this just because of how hard, and again, it's not supposed to splinter, but it did during our testing product period. One last thing I want to mention about Yak Chews, whether it's this one or the Native Pet, is that these are higher protein type treats. So for any of your treats that are higher protein, I would use them with caution in senior pets, typically just because they can't handle as much protein as your younger dogs. Your younger dogs love those high protein treats and they thrive off of them, but try to pick lower protein contents for your senior dogs to help their kidneys stay nice and healthy. Nylabone Healthy Edibles. These are the next chews on the list, and as you can see, these are a little bit hard, but they are pliable. So these things do pass the finger dent test that I mentioned earlier. Very low odor, does smell kind of beefy, and these are definitely highly palatable. The dogs that we tested, I love how quickly they were like, oh yes, I want one of those, please. So definitely a lot of good smells, good texture, isn't going to break off in large chunks, so fairly safe for the most part. Now I will tell you these are kind of like dessert. There's a lot of different stuff in these products, and I do like limited ingredient products. Now, one of the reasons that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of ingredients in these bones in particular, is because the concern for the company is often the shelf life. How long that this is gonna last on the shelf, and that requires a lot of preservatives, which you will definitely find on this bag. In fact, I was actually surprised to see what the expiration date on this bag was. It's July of 2024, and we are making this video in 2021. So a lot more things in this product than I like to see in dog treats in particular. The other thing you'll notice about the packaging is it's a lot of marketing, wholesome, healthy, and there really aren't any ingredients in this that I would consider wholesome or healthy specifically. Again, this is kind of like dessert. There's a lot of flavoring products in here, so natural flavors, but not really a lot of meat. So they smell good, the dogs love them, but not a very nutritious choice. So just be in moderation when you're giving these to your pet. Rachael Ray's Nutrish Soup Bones. These are kind of fun. So the whole purpose behind these is to kind of emulate soup bones without the dangers behind soup bones, which can crack and wear the teeth down. Now, what I do like about these is that they smell pretty yummy to dogs. It smells terrible to me, but it's a very mild odor, and the stinkier things are, the more they love them. But my favorite thing about these chews in particular is that they're soft, so they definitely pass that finger dent test that I was showing you before. And so these are really great for dogs that are older or might have some gingivitis in the teeth already or need a softer chew to kind of help their gums. Now, in longer lasting chew land, these don't last that long. They eat them fairly quickly, so you want to be careful and give these in moderation as well, because there's also a lot of ingredients packed into these. Again, a lot about shelf life, several preservatives and things like that, but they actually do use real meat in this, which I do like. So the dogs found these very highly palatable, really enjoyed them, and I like these for more of our senior pets or pets that might have some issues with their mouth and need softer chews. The turkey tendon ring from Affreschi. It's Italian, but it's made in China. More on that in a moment. But one of the things that I really like about products like this tendon is that it's natural meat product. So there's not a lot of fillers, not a lot of preservatives. So I find that to be a much more healthy or wholesome option for dogs that like to chew. Now this one isn't for super chewers where it's gonna last a super long time, but it definitely holds up for a longer period of time than most other dog treats that I've come across. I like that it's very low as far as odor is concerned, so not a concern for any staining or any scent left over in the dog bed or on the furniture. So those are things that are great about this as well. Now what I don't like about it is back to the China thing. I do like products that are sourced in the US just because there's a lot of recalls that come out of China. So while I do like this product, I would use it with caution and make sure you pay attention to the recall list and that this doesn't end up on it. Momentarily speaking of recalls, there is a very valuable resource on our site at Better Pet, and that is our recall tool to help give you the most up-to-date, informed information regarding what recalls are out there. So anytime you're concerned, if you want to keep up to date with that list because you give your dogs lots of treats and chews, you can visit the site for that information. I'll also put a link to that resource in the video description so it's easy for you to find. The next two products up on our list are nylon or plastic based, and they're very hard. And these are super popular pet products, which is one of the reasons that we really wanted to review these ourselves and test these out to see what we think and see if these are safe options for your dog. Now, these are products that don't pass the finger dent test. So they are geared for super chewers because they last a lot longer, but that's also a concern because there's typically reasons that a dog is a super chewer. They don't have the same type of oral fixations that some humans might, and often after all of their puppy teeth are gone, they're left with chewing for habit and or more likely a behavioral concern. So if your dog is one of those super chewers out there, it's very likely that there could be a behavior component to that, and it's more important to address the behavior component and give your dog soft and safe chews in moderation than it is to give them something that they can go hard at and chew for a longer period of time. So let's get into our first harder bone for your super chewers. This is the Benebone, and you can see how tough and durable and strong it is. In fact, you can probably hear it's pretty hard, which is one of the biggest concerns for me. Now, while they do put actual real bacon in here, which makes it very highly palatable, so your dog is likely to want to chew on this. In fact, when I tested it, my dog was like, oh yes, please let me chew on that. And I did go ahead and test it and let her, and as you can see here, there's some chewing to it. But you'll notice already that all of these shards that are up here are very sharp. So as soon as the dog starts chewing on this Benebone, it creates these, hard layers that are very sharp and cut the gums. In fact, the reason I pulled this away from my dog in particular is because it actually cut a piece of her gum and left it on the material. This type of material, once it gets chewed up, is likely to get caught up on things like upholstery and clothing and even dog hair. So I strongly encourage you to be very, very cautious when using a product that's this hard, doesn't pass the finger dent test, and you can again hear just how hard this product is, because if it's that hard for you, imagine what it's like to your dog's very, very soft gum tissue. This is the original Nylabone. This is one of the most popular products that we reviewed, and I'm so glad that we did, because this is also one of the hardest products that we reviewed. I tried very, very hard to find something that I liked about this, and honestly, my dog liked it. She was like, yes, I would love to chew on that. But I actually avoided even testing this product in her mouth to begin with, just because of how hard it is. I'm also very concerned with the ability for a piece to break off of this and cause a potential obstruction in my dog. So, similar to the Benebone, you can hear how incredibly hard that is. So I'm very concerned about this getting, wearing down the teeth, wearing down the gum line, causing gingivitis, letting bacteria come in because it's opening wounds in the mouth. And so I just would steer clear away from this bone in general. Though it is a very, very popular pick for your super chewers, so to speak, there are definitely some alternatives out there for super chewers, so to speak, that are much more gentle on the gums, and we'll list some of those alternative products for you. So of all these different products that we've reviewed, there's things that I love about them and things that I don't like about them at all. And it's really hard to find that perfect chew. But I do have a favorite out of the 7 that we reviewed, and that one is definitely the turkey tendon ring. And the thing that I love most about this is that it's a natural product, very, very limited ingredients. It does last a little bit longer for your dogs that like to chew more and really enjoy that feeling on their gums. And overall, I think it's a fairly good product. While I'm not super excited about being sourced from China, we can keep tabs on what's safe and what's not, but overall, I think this is the winner today. Thanks so much for joining me on this episode in the lab and reviewing these different bones and chews that are long lasting. Now, we do review these for you and for your pet to help you make informed decisions about what the right type of chew or bone for your dog might be. Now, because this is all for you, please don't hesitate to provide some of your feedback for us. Tell us if you've used any of these products and what you think, and most importantly, what your dog thinks about it. Leave us comments below in the comment section so we can review these and answer any questions that you may have as well. If you like this video and you found value in it, please don't forget to hit that like button. You can also hit the subscribe button to get notified when more content and information on our product reviews is released. Thanks so much again for watching and for joining us in this episode of The Lab.